about the judgment of God. Psalm 19, 9 through 11 says, "The fear of the Lord is clean, enduring forever, and the judgments of the Lord are righteous altogether." Then he says this about the judgment and the fear of God: "More to be desired are they than gold, yea, than much fine gold. Sweeter also than honey and the honeycomb. Moreover, by them is thy servant warned, and in keeping of them there is great reward." There's a lot we could say about all that. But what do most people often think about when they hear the word judgment, especially the judgment of God? Don't many think of maybe punishment, the punishment of man for bad behavior, and the fear of God as being afraid of God? But when we really understand the judgment of God, we will treasure the judgment. We will embrace the righteous judgment of God. The word judgment actually means decision or conclusion of a matter. And what we need to understand is that even before the foundation of the world, that God has already made up his mind about you and the love that he has for you. His mind has already been made up. And even when we were taken hostage by sin and death, that didn't stop God or slow God down. For God so loved the world that he came for our rescue, okay, to deliver us from captivity, from sin and death, so that we could then be joined to Jesus, who was raised from the dead, and so that we could have that life and immortality of life that God has already promised to give us in Jesus. John 9:39, Jesus said this: "For judgment I've come into the world, so that those who could not see, the blind could not see, may see." So you see that Jesus didn't come into the world to condemn the blind or punish the blind, but he came to actually rescue the lost and open up the eyes of the blind, so that we could then see the love that God has always had for us. Jesus says, "No one has seen the Father except the Son, who came to declare him," so that we could see him. The judgment of God is that God has already judged you righteous, complete, and innocent in Christ. Okay, this is oftentimes contrary to the judgment of religion that wants to add, okay, to the finished work of Jesus. But what are we going to do? Are we going to believe the judgment of man or the righteous judgment of God? If God has declared us righteous, innocent, and holy and complete in Christ, then who are we to argue with God? Psalm 39:7 says this: "And now God has left me with one conclusion. My only hope is to hope in Christ and his life and righteousness." Acts 17:31, Paul says this: "God has already appointed a day in which he will judge the world in righteousness." How? By the man, Jesus, who he has ordained and given full assurance to all by raising him from the dead. The proof that God has judged us righteous in Christ is that he raised him from the dead, and now he calls on all to be persuaded to believe the righteous judgment of God. Okay, he did this again. The proof that we are made righteous in Christ is that he raised Christ from the dead. Okay, so the righteous judgment of God that we are to embrace and treasure is this: that he has said, that declared that we are already innocent, complete, holy, without blame, innocent in Christ, nothing missing, nothing lacking. So we are either going to believe the judgment of religion that says it's based upon what you do, or we're going to believe the righteous judgment of God that has already said it's what Christ has already accomplished for us in his death, burial, and resurrection. So God encourages us to embrace as treasure, okay, his righteous judgment. The righteous judgment that he has already declared, set his love on us, declared us innocent, righteous, and holy, and complete in Christ. And in keeping of that righteous judgment, there is great reward. What is that great reward? That great reward is life and immortality of life in Jesus.